So I am not the smartest tool in the shed because about once a month I do something really stupid, and this is a prime example. Because I have just bought another one of my dream bikes, $5,300 later, and I've got a 2020 V2 Panigale, but it's pretty badly wrecked. Okay, so let's get this bike in the garage because I think my nightmare is about to begin. Luckily, this is not my first rodeo with a Panigale V2. You might remember this was actually the first bike that we built on this channel, and I fell in love with that bike. I wish I'd never sold it, but there was so much I wish I'd done that I'm gonna now be able to do to this bike. So I think first things first, let's do a quick tour and see exactly what is wrong with this bike and also what's pretty freaking awesome about it. Now, the most obvious thing is this front end, which is just, it's completely pancaked in like this. So the forks have bent backwards, and I reckon the forks are probably bent. The wheel here is just completely destroyed. So luckily we've got a new wheel on the way anyway. And up the top here, just here on the triple, this triple has been just like, almost like ripped apart. So that's just had because of that big hit on the front wheel, it's ripped this apart and it's broken all the steering damper as well. It's had a pretty huge crash on the front end. Luckily, most things on the back of the bike, apart from the fairings, were actually okay. So it's had some damage to the clutch here. So this actual really nice carbon cover is destroyed, but we've got a new one anyway. So I actually think that everything from here forwards just needs to be replaced. The bars, the forks, the triples, the wheel. I think the only thing I can probably keep off this front end is the brake lines and probably the calipers. Everything else is just destroyed. So why don't we have a look now at what's actually good on this bike. So while we're on good things, this rear here, this is actually a Ducati Performance tail tidy. It's one of the carbon ones. So we're gonna sell that for probably around about $200. Now these are Australian dollars, not American dollars. So don't get upset in the comments if you think my prices are wrong. It's got a SC Project 3/4 system exhaust, so we're gonna keep that. It's got, thankfully, the tank is not touched. So probably the most expensive item on the bike is in really good condition. It's got these really ugly old tank pads. They're gonna go. I mean, who puts clear tank pads on red? Yes, a dark color I can understand, but red, come on. What else has it got that's good? Okay, I'll show you in a minute when you come in, but it's actually got some really cool Rizoma red reservoirs. I think the headlight and this top fairing here can be sold. Pretty much apart from this here, the rest of the bike I think is in good condition. It does have a power commander, so a Dynojet power commander unit. That's gonna come off it as well because this bike's gonna get a full tune. Yeah, so I think we've got a pretty good platform. Let's get into it. Let's strip this baby down and start working, stop talking. Okay, so now I'm just gonna try and actually jack up this bike so we can get the front end off. And in order to do that, I need to clear this area out. So where the fan is, because the fan's going, I need to take all this plastic off the bottom because we're gonna jack up the bike from the sump. But I'm thinking even before we do that, once I've stripped this off, we'll drain the oil and give it an oil change and a filter change first. So there's like a million of these screws have got to come out, and it's pretty tedious. And I look kind of vulnerable in this position, if you know what I mean. I'll stick my tongue out. I don't know if you can hear that. I think my neighbor is killing their child. It's really, really loud. Anyway, so we've got all our cables ready to go and start putting deletes on. We'll do that a little bit later. But all this plastic now, including the fan off the back of the radiator, including the servo motor, this can all go. We're gonna drop like 1 kilo off the bike straight away. So let's keep going. Hi there again. I'm not as flexible as I thought I was. I really need a better workshop stand. This is killing me. Last bolt, I think. Pray for me if you're religious. I'm not religious, but pray for me. Come on. Oh no, maybe not. I spoke too soon. Okay. That's off. So now I can take the fan off, but I think what I might do is just get rid of these wires first. And then let's do the oil. Cool, cool. Look, whilst we're on this side, we might as well just add some deletes. Add some deletes in. Do you add a delete in? I don't know. Anyway. We got this little package from Smart Moto. I think we could buy them from Rated R Parts, which I think is in Australia, Perth, Australia. And they send you all these little block offs, which as far as I'm pretty sure what they are is like a little resistor into a cap. Like it's just like a loop, and you just plug it in exactly where you want it. So this one is for the stand. So the stand's coming off, and I think we just plug it in like that, job done. So now the stand can come off, and that's another probably kilo saved, I'm gonna guess, off the bike. Okay, I've got the oil draining out of the bike. I'm just gonna put my magnet in to this oil and just test and see if there's any metal comes up on the magnet, because if it does, that's not good. And so far, it's looking pretty good. There's absolutely nothing on the end of that magnet. That's perfect, brilliant. Exactly what we want to see. Give that a clean. So now that that oil's coming out, I'll be able to put a new filter in, get some new oil in there, and then strip this whole front end off. Okay, old filter out. Pop that in there. New filter in. You do have to make sure it seats correctly, so you will hear a pop when you put it in, and it'll go in like an extra 5 millimeters. That's what you want. If you just push it in lightly, that's not enough. Done. Now I've also just drilled a hole inside the sump plug on the side of the sump plug, just so I can put some lock wiring on it and lock wire it to one of the fixing points on the exhaust. That way, on the racetrack, everything is lock wired down. Safety first, people. Safety first. Time for some new oil. Do you really want to see me pour oil into a motorbike? Probably not. So I figured whilst I'm working in this area, we've got some new GB Racing engine covers. I really love the carbon one that's on there, but it's just destroyed. So what I think I'll do is I'll leave some of these engine plastics here for now. I might replace them with carbon. More than likely I'll replace them with carbon, but for now I'm gonna leave them there and I'm gonna install this. So just a new GB Racing engine cover for the clutch side, and must go like that somehow. Should be easy, let's get it done. Job done. Now I've just got to torque them down to 12 Newton meters and do the other side. Okay, we're just gonna jack this up. So I've got the back all tied down, so fingers crossed nothing falls on me. But this, in theory, should just jack straight up. Might tighten that a bit more. Come on, baby, keep going straight up. Okay, the front wheels clear the ground, I think. And I think we are balanced okay. I've just got the engine block balanced on a piece of wood just here, just so it's nice and soft, nice soft piece of pine. Right, and we're cleared. So now I think we can actually start stripping down this whole front. That's gonna take a lot of weight off it as well. Well, that worked. I just gave it a couple of whacks with the soft hammer instead, and it just popped out. But look how bent that is. That is, okay, I was gonna make an inappropriate joke, but I won't. That is bad. So, good thing we got a new one of these on the way. We've got a complete new front end pretty much on the way. But the problem is, most of it's coming from Ukraine. So, it could take a while to get here. Right, next job. Now we're making progress. So the tank's off the bike as well. Now all I'm gonna do is just cover that up because I just had a look through and that filter looks brand new, even though we've got a new one coming. So I'm just gonna grab a nice, fresh new rag. There we go, brand new rag. And that's just gonna keep this safe for us, make sure nothing drops in there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attack these plastics because all these plastics at the back are going and they're getting replaced with carbon fiber. Yeah boy, carbon fiber. That's how I roll, you know it. So let's get into it. Same day, different clothes, but I am smashing through this like so fast. It's gonna be now the wait just to get parts, and I can see that getting parts from Italy to Australia is gonna be the headache, but hopefully we've got a fairing, we've got a full front end, we've got suspension. I think it's in Australia at the moment when I buy that. The only thing I should be waiting on is the carbon order, which is coming from RPM Carbon. And fingers crossed we can build this bike quite fast, but again, it's gonna come down to parts. So the next two things I'm gonna do is more deletes. So I've deleted the side stand, deleted the rear lights, deleted the front light. We're gonna delete the evap, so the evaporative control, so that's gonna come off. And for that, I've got the evap delete kit. And then we're gonna delete the secondary air, so the AIS system, and I've got a Smart Moto delete kit for that as well with block off plates and a electronic block off. So first things first, once I get rid of the evap, I can then get my fingers into the bolts which hold the fan on, so I can take the fan off, which means I can delete the fan. So all up, I'm probably evap, AIS, fan, stand, anything else I've deleted is probably somewhere around the 5 kilo mark total. That's a fair bit of weight saving, so let's get into it. So the evap is actually held on by a couple of little things. It's this section right here. And what it does is it takes evaporative emissions out of the tank and uses it to burn in combustion. So it's a couple of little things you've got to do. For one, you've got to get rid of this module here, and this is the purge valve. You've got to block that off. So you get a electronic plug to block off the purge valve block off plug, and you've got to remove this whole canister here, which takes up heaps and heaps of space. So this just has to go. Like, you can see how much space it takes up. Once this goes, I'll probably also get rid of the ABS module, because that's about another half a kilo, and we might just end up running race lines the whole way back and to the front. But yeah, let's get this off first. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is just detach everything so that I can get to everything easily. So all of these clips are just holding everything in my way, so I want to be able to get to it all. So I'll just start cutting all of these little clips off, which means I can start getting to things. Here we go, opens it all up for me. I've got some more clips over this side. There we go. Okay, here's my evap unit. So a lot of this is going to go. First up, we're going to take the plug off. And we're going to fix up this plug with the new evap plug. Which is right here. Cool, evap plug done. We'll tie that off and put it up with these ones up here. And then the evap system itself can also come out. Okay, so there's like, I don't know, I'm gonna say 300 grams right there. You can see fuel coming out of it. That's the evaporative fuel out of the tank. Job done. So there's a couple of hoses that run from the evap. One runs from the tank down to the evap. That hose we're going to replace with a new hose running the whole way down, and we're going to let that bleed at the bottom. And then we're going to block off the evap feeder to the ignition. So that's this one here. So this is going to get a block off put in it, and that's your evap delete done. Simple as. It's been a while since I've done this, and I'm pretty sure that AIS on this side, on the front cylinder, sits on the front, on the right side. So I've got to take the ABS module off and pull it out. On top of that, in order to get to the AIS sensor, that's actually back here. So I've got to take this plastic piece, which houses the ECU, I've got to pull that out here, which means I've got to take all these bolts out and unclip everything so that I can get in behind it. So it's actually not a small job. So I'm going to speed this all up because it's probably going to take me about an hour. I don't know why I build bikes on a Saturday night. So there it is, the AIS faceplate right there. Way better, way cleaner. And here's the other one that we're gonna get rid of. So this is attached to the actual tube. That's all going. This side's way easier. It's like out in the open. As soon as you take the plastics off, it's just right in front of you. New faceplate on. There you go, another one done. Much, much cleaner. Look at that, smart motor, very cool. Done. And we're just gonna pull the tube through. This is the tube we took off before. And then this unit right here, this is the actual AIS unit, which goes into the back of the earbox. So that's what we're gonna take off. This is the actual plug. So we should just be able to get a screwdriver in there and get that plug off. Okay, I am pretty well spent. I could probably keep stripping just a little bit more, but like here's the fan. That's another probably kilo all up, that's gone. Pretty much all the deletes I think I can do now are done other than the ABS, and I've still got to buy the lines for that. The bike is pretty much in a state where I can clean it. You don't need to see me cleaning a bike. Cleaning's cleaning. I could put something sexy on and clean it if you really want me to, but I don't think that's gonna sell records. So yeah, so next up, we're just waiting on the front end to arrive from the Ukraine and USA. That should get here this week. We'll be able to build it out and then actually get this bike back on wheels. Then we've got suspension, we've got fairings, we've got all the performance parts, and this bike is gonna look absolutely sick. So again, if you haven't seen what the design is gonna be, it's gonna be a type of Ferrari build, and jump on my Instagram and you'll be able to check out the post where that is sort of teased. But yeah, if you like this video, subscribe and like, and you know the drill. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.